25 consecutive innings. A gem that throws gems. Paul Skeens is special. And it's my only hope that in this day and age where pitchers burn out their arms within only a few years of making the majors, Skeens can last. Because the game, especially the long-suffering fans in Pittsburgh, need him. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
It was the Roman poet Virgil who said, "Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open. But to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell." We'll talk about that later, but now it's time for Rick Tittle and titillating sports on Sports Byline USA. All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to another live edition of Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. It's nice to have you with us. 3 hours on the mic talking sports and entertainment as well. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, quarter ball, chess, checkers, rugby, cricket, that type of stuff. We'll do it together at the toll-free line, coast to coast, border to border, at 1-800-878-PLAY. 1-800-878-7529 will get you in and get you heard with your sporting question, comment, or concern. Now, as I mentioned, we get into the entertainment world as well. And coming up after sneeze button. Coming up after this break, we will have actor Sean Ryan Fox. He has a new film called The Midway Point. Jim Goddard will join us at 9:40. He's got the World Olympics Collectors Fair in Colorado Springs. I got to go to that museum in Colorado Springs. It's pretty cool. It's where the USA's Olympic headquarters is. As well, yes. Also, an hour from now, director Rand Getlin will join us for his miniseries on HBO, which just began yesterday. It's called USA Against the World, as we get ready for the World Cup, less than a month away. Tom Clavin is back in about an hour and a half. He has a new book called Vengeance about Custer, Crazy Horse, and Sitting Bull. And I went to Little Bighorn a couple years ago. We can talk about that. Rick, you went everywhere. I guess so. And then Emmy Award winner Mike Schur, who co-created Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and sports writer Joe Posnanski, they have come together a book about going around on the road as friends, going to sporting events and such. All right, on the TuneIn app, the iHeartRadio app, the Stitcher app, around the world on American Forces Radio Network, saluting the troops. And this first hour is on Twitch TV and YouTube. Come on back.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-826-4073. 800-826-4073. 800-826-4073. That's 800-826-4073.
I get a lot of calls from people across the country who are suffering from the affliction of IRS tax debt. Hi, I'm the tax doctor. Call me right now. My team specializes in helping people over the age of 50 solve their tax problems. And the bigger your tax problem is, the more money you can save. If you owe the IRS money, or you're about to owe the IRS money, or even if you need to file years of unfiled returns, call us right now. Our friendly, highly trained representatives are waiting right now to take your call. Over the years, we've helped thousands of people just like you stop the tax liens, wage garnishments, and harassing phone calls. You don't need to send the IRS a big fat check. We can negotiate a lower amount. That's what we guarantee for you. So call us right now.
800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
You're now listening to The Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
All right, thank you for that, Jay Peterman. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show actor Sean Ryan Fox. He is in a brand new film entitled The Midway Point, and it will be available on demand on the 19th of this month, so a little bit less than a week. Sean, welcome to the show. And do you kind of like sit back and think that even though you're super young, that you're like a grizzled vet in this business? Is it kind of weird when you think about it that way?
Yeah, sometimes it is a little weird. It mostly happens when you get from people that are like just joining the industry, and they're like, explain it a little bit. Like, you've been on, you've been acting for quite a while, and then I have to be like, yeah, I mean, starting at 8 years old, it's definitely you definitely feel like you've been doing it for quite some time.
So now that you're in your 20s, obviously you had a good support staff, family, agency, I don't know, but they kept you on the straight and narrow because we always hear the cautionary tales of child actors. Right? So how did you come through on the other side okay?
I mean, yeah, my family was obviously super supportive and great about that, but also specifically in the end of being a child actor, I mean, our entire cast was just like a big family, and it very much was very welcoming, and everybody was, I mean, looking out for each other. We had on-set teachers that were kind of like, I think I described them as like my second mothers. Like they were very, very protective of us, and part of their job, is to make sure that everything's okay and we're comfortable with everything. And then, of course, we had adults on the show that were like part of the main cast, and they were also kind of like, I would say like brothers, like they were very much also looking out for us. So I think we were really lucky to have a fantastic cast and crew that just made it a great environment to be around, especially at such a young age. And
then, obviously, getting on Nickelodeon was huge as a kid, as you mentioned. But I want to ask real quick about the Gemstones, because I love those McBride Hill vehicles. I love Walton Goggins. I mean, I would just imagine that must have been a blast.
Oh, it was crazy. I don't think I've ever really done something like that, and that, it's funny, that actually feels so recent to me, but that was actually, I think, almost a good year ago for me when I shot that. But that was a wild time, not only just shooting the show, but also when I was out there was like a huge storm that had us like trapped in our hotel for like 3 weeks. So I mean, the whole ordeal was just a crazy experience. But no, it was wonderful. Everybody there was also fantastic and super welcoming, especially for me being that was an odd thing, is like you said, like I kind of get the experience of being a grizzled vet. That was the one time where I didn't feel like a grizzled vet. I was coming into their final season, and everybody knew each other, and they were there for years. So I was very much the newbie, but everybody very much welcomed me with open arms and made it a fantastic time and a wonderful experience.
Very cool. All right, let's talk about The Midway Point from Level 33 Entertainment. It's a film written and directed by Luca Vieira. You play a character who, it's a coming of age, which usually means, first kiss, first heartbreak, stuff like that. But this is all on the spectrum as an autistic character. Now, the spectrum, as you probably know, can go from quote-unquote looking completely normal to being nonverbal in a wheelchair. I mean, there's so much that goes into autism. It's hard to pinpoint. So how did Luca want you to play it? How did you play it?
Well, I know initially when I did my audition, because when I got the actual description of the audition, there was no indication of being on the spectrum. But I saw the sides, and I was like, something's going on here. I think I know what this is about, but I think I need a little bit more context. So then I read the whole script, and immediately, I think by the I got quarter into the script, and I was like, yeah, I understand this project now. So when I auditioned for it, I actually went, I don't want to say like super, super heavy with, portraying someone on the spectrum, but I did a good amount of research and really tried to dive super, super into it. But I think after I booked it, I had a conversation with Luca, and I was like, hey, I just want to confirm, this character's on the spectrum, right? And he was like, yeah, well, we don't want to play it up too much, okay? Like, we don't want this to kind of become, I guess in a way, a caricature. Like, we don't want to, this is very much a less is more approach than how we did it. And that's kind of how we, continued shooting it once we actually got, the cameras rolling. And there were moments where we played it up a little bit more than others. I would say crucial points in the story. And but we definitely could have gone further. And I'd be interested, just as an actor and as a performer, since I've seen the movie like 6 times now,
Right.
and I'm sure Luke has seen it way more than me on the cutting room floor. But I'd be interested to see what it looks like if we push it even further. But I think we reached a nice balance where, again, I don't think it's in a way offensive, and I think it was very. We did it in a nice. Like balanced way, and I think that's kind of how we moved forward. And again, we really didn't want to, again, like I said, make it like a caricature.
Yeah, and also, was there any type of backlash? Because I know the way Hollywood is, it's like, well, if someone's going to play a character who has any sort of challenge, then you have to get an actor who has that in real life. Or are we not that petty, should I say?
No, I don't think, at least from what I've seen, I don't think we've gotten any backlash. In fact, we went and actually showed the movie at some festivals, I think last year, and for the most part, everybody was pretty happy with it. In fact, there were a couple people that were like, I have a son, or, I have a sibling or family member that is on the spectrum, and they're like, I'm glad that, you guys did it the way you did. Like, it wasn't too forced, and it was a nice balance. And even some people are like, I see this in my own, again, my own kid or family member, and so I can kind of relate to that. So I think we kind of got mostly, at least when we were at the festivals, we got mostly positive things, nothing negative, really, at least from what I have seen.
Catherine Daddario is in this as well, and she looks pretty familiar. Is she the younger sister?
To me?
No, to who's the Daddario that was on White Lotus?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name?
Yeah,
I can't think of her name because I can think of Kat.
What is it, Dominic?
What was?
It's Alexandra.
Alexandra. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dominic. Is that a relation or not?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say they look. So what about, just a final question, the chemistry that you have to have, the awkwardness of meeting a stranger, and now you have to act like you have this bond. I mean, you have to kind of get that bond, I would imagine. How does that all work when you're paired up like that?
So I'm trying to think when her and I first met the first time. I'm trying to think if it was in Wardrobe, but I think, we're both grown adults, and there was even some times where we actually sat down, I think, after shooting and on the weekends, and we wanted to kind of work on some scenes very particularly, not only just to run lines, but to kind of, find the moment in that scene. And also, sometimes I can say just experience, there might be something where, you're wearing kind of a goofy outfit that can kind of, put you kind of in that mood. I remember we had a scene, we had a prom scene, and we were in this gymnasium. It was during the day, so they blacked out all the windows. All the windows are covered. I'm like a tux, and it's just hot. It's so hot in there, but you can kind of use that because there were some awkward elements in that scene. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm sweaty, I'm exhausted, but I can kind of take that energy and kind of use it and propel it forward into this scene. Even though I am extremely uncomfortable, but that's part of the job, and it's helpful sometimes, a lot more often than you think.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. All right. Well, everybody should check this out. It's called The Midway Point, and it's going to be on demand on the 19th, written and directed, as I mentioned, by Luke Vieira, and starring our guest, Sean Ryan Fox. Sean, congrats on this, and let's catch up on your next project.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. We'll come back. We got some open lines at 1-800-878-PLAY.
Sometimes life changes, and the house you once loved becomes a burden. Too many repairs, too many memories, too much to handle on your own. If you'd like to sell your home fast, we can help. At the Home Buyers Hotline, we can help you sell your home as is. No cleaning, no showings, and there are absolutely no hidden fees or real estate commissions. We'll pay you a fair price for your home in cash. Whether you're downsizing, handling an estate, or just ready for peace of mind, call us. We'll help you walk away from your problem property in no time at all and get you the cash in your bank account with little hassles. If you'd like to sell your home fast, as is, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline.
Call Want to Sell Your Home now for a free quote to sell your home in any condition. Call 800-950-3143. 800-950-3143. That's 800-950-3143. Right now, you can switch from cable television to satellite television for free. That's right, we're offering free equipment, free installation, plus get a free $100 prepaid Visa card. Call the Satellite TV hotline right now. Make the switch from cable to satellite television. Expand your viewing horizon. On top of free installation, for a limited time, we're offering a fixed price guarantee. With satellite TV, you'll save money over your expensive cable bill. Plus, get access to hundreds of channels. And when you call right now, you can also ask about our seniors and military discounts. So make the switch to satellite TV right now. Everybody gets free installation, free equipment, plus a $100 prepaid Visa card. Call right now and you can switch to satellite TV and be watching everything you wanted to within the next week. And remember, installation's free, so call right now. 800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. That's 800-696-2871.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. The world! Coming up in the next segment, we will have Jim Goddard from the World Olympics Collectors Fair. And if you want to take a look at my fine self, you need to get in because at 10 o'clock we're handing the studio over. Technically 10:30, but I don't like to rush into the other studio midway. I like to take the news break so I can get nice and settled. And then I'll be sitting in Dominic's lap the next 2 hours. So anyway, the lines are open in this segment. 1-800-7-PLAY. Now, it's pretty funny because I was talking yesterday about Steve Sarkisian, coach of Texas, talking about how you can get a degree in basket weaving at Ole Miss. And you think, well, that's the end of that banter. Oh no! What happened, Rick? we ain't done. Because then Lane Kiffin, who coached at Ole Miss, obviously, he just coached there, and now he's moved on to LSU. It's never stopped him from talking smack about his old schools like USC, Tennessee, what have you. But Lane Kiffin chimed in yesterday, and he talked about how much easier it is to recruit at LSU. First of all, LSU is easier to recruit at because kids who are teenagers have seen LSU be great. And if you're not that old, you've seen LSU win a national championship in the BCS era. But, you've seen guys like, even if you're 18 years old, you saw Joe Burrow. So, it's a bigger city, state capital, what have you. So, it's obviously going to be easier to recruit there. But Kiffin said about recruiting now that he's in Baton Rouge, he said, quote, when families of high-profile kids would come to Ole Miss, he said, they would say, hey, coach, we really like you, but my grandparents aren't letting me move to Oxford, Mississippi. That doesn't come up when you see Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Parents were sitting here this weekend saying the campus's diversity feels so great. He says, it feels like there's no segregation. And we want that for our kid because that's the real world. Do you have to say that? Do you? Even if parents say that? Now, look, one of the most diverse areas in the United States is the Bay Area, especially where I grew up in the East Bay. In parts of the West counties, Alameda and Contra Costa counties. There's every ethnicity you can think of, or my dad's generation, every race that you can think of. Still, at Berkeley High, I had a guy from Berkeley High on my show like last week or two, and I asked him if it was true that at Berkeley High they had Africa, Europe, Asia, and Mexico on the playground, and he said yes, because I always heard that all the black kids hang out, all the Mexican kids, all the white kids, all the Asian kids. They just started saying, over there is Africa, over here is Asia. That was in Berkeley, okay? And it's slightly tongue-in-cheek, but it's also a real thing. It doesn't mean that they were disparaging. I think that's kind of a thing where kids kind of find out, they're trying to find out who they are, just as I take a step back, because my grammar school was up in the hills, and it was pretty, every parents were at least middle class, but everybody's dad was a doctor or a dentist or whatever. And then when I went to the junior high, which was kind of in the hood in Richmond, some of my black friends that I grew up with, and they were kind of local, some of them decided that I feel like a sellout, and then a big fro, and they pick, or as we would say, a cake cutter in their hair, and they'd hang all the black dudes who were from more depressed areas. And then some of them stayed Urkel. They're like, yeah, I don't want any part of that. And that's up to the individual, It's just like when kids grow up, they go, do I want to be on the straight and narrow? Do I want to be a little criminal? Or do I want to get good grades? Or do I want to be a lazy ass? Or do I want to dedicate to my sport? Or I want nothing to do with sports? Whatever. That's all part of coming together. And I've never been to Oxford, Mississippi. It's not that far from Memphis, as I've seen it on a map. I think it's 45 minutes from Memphis, so it's not in the middle of nowhere. And Mississippi gets a bad rap. And it is true, if you studied history in this country, that ever since we, I say, won the Civil War, that we have not only kept the South depressed, but we point at them and laugh and say, you guys are a bunch of stupid hicks, which is completely wrong and incorrect. But these are the things that get inculcated even when you don't know it. And I'll give you an example. I was interviewing a guy, I don't know, about 5 years ago, and he wrote a movie about life and death and family and struggle. And he was one of the most eloquent, intelligent, like every other sentence I was thinking, I can remember that. It was so good. But the whole time he sounded like this. And as an American, we're sort of subconsciously trained to think, oh, that guy's stupid. And then on the other hand, even just as dumb, if we hear someone talk like this, oh, we think they're quite intelligent, don't we? And they could be a complete raving mad, barking mad, stupid idiot. So I understand we have to fight through those things. Some things you think, oh, I don't disparage against people. You go, I love that, and you think, you're stupid. But no, listen to him. The guy's way smarter than I was. And I was like, so you have to get over those things. I get it. And Mississippi gets a bad rap. And who was the grandparent that said, you're not allowed to go to Oxford? What kind of grandparents have that control? Not Luke. He just got an extra $1 million leaving Cal, going to Clemson for 5 minutes, and then going to Oxford. And I don't like Lane Kiffin, but I have to hand it to him what he did with that program, putting him on the map big time. And, it used to be the school that you went to if nobody else wanted you in the SEC. And then you'd find these gems, these Patrick Willis type players. And you're like, oh, wow, how did he slip through the cracks? Patrick Willis said that he went on a recruiting visit to Notre Dame and they ignored him. And he's like, why would I want to go here when they're not even talking to me? He just said they were talking to the other recruits. Kind of just didn't even look at them. But I bring it all up because Archie Manning, friend of the show, alum, and of his sons, Eli is an alum, he didn't like these last 24 hours with Sarkisian and Kiffin saying this stuff. So Archie Manning said today, I'm very proud of my school. My school had to make changes years ago and did. I know so many people who send their kids to Ole Miss that have a great experience. It's my school and always will be. Look, every school in the South was segregated at one point, and he's right. Maybe Mississippi was a little bit later than others. But you can point to, look at the Boston Red Sox. They're kicking and screaming took a black player, Pumpsy Green from El Cerrito High School. The last team to get a black player, Boston. So everybody has a checkered past, to put it lightly. I know someone who was from the Bay Area that went to Ole Miss. And look, the name of the school is the University of Mississippi. But you just got that nickname, Ole Miss, right on the helmet. I think that's kind of cool in a way. But all Kiffin had to say is, yeah, it's easier recruiting at LSU. It's a much bigger school. It's more famous. It's got better athletes. Look at the trophy case. It's a bigger city. It was hard at Oxford. And everybody would be like, yeah, no, we get it. And then it's saying, oh, it feels like there's no segregation. God, Kiffin, you had to say that? Do you know what he did there? He's not a complete idiot. He's letting recruits know that maybe there is segregation still. In any way that he can get that one recruit, he will do it. But Archie Manning, he ain't having it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come on back and talk Olympics on the other side.
The legend of the Phoenix all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning.
Lower your car payment today. Lower your car payment today. Yes, you heard us right. You can lower your car payment right now by making this free call and save up to $1,400 a year on your current car payments. Think about your current car payment right now. What's that costing you per year? Now think about what it would be like to put an extra $1,400 back in your pocket. That's the average savings our customers experience. We can help you drive the same car and pay less every month by lowering your car payment's interest rate to as low as 4.6 7%. At Rate Genius, we can work with you to refinance any car payment. If you qualify, it costs you nothing to find out how you can lower your car payment. And more, call this number right now.
800-832-2816. 800-832-2816. 800-832-2816. That's 800-832-2816.
We call ourselves ASAP Travel for one reason. We can help you book a ticket ASAP. For those of you who don't know, that means as soon as possible. That means no wait time. You get through right away. No searching online. Our specialty is the lowest available fares on the big-name airlines. You know them. We can't tell their names. You can fly domestically or internationally and save more money than you could if you call the airlines directly. Our proprietary software goes underneath the hood of the major airline booking systems and finds you the best rates available. So if you're ready to make your travel plans right now, business or vacation travel, we have all the major airlines, always at great rates. Call ASAP Trips, and we'll have your ticket in your inbox in 15 minutes. Call this number now.
800-364-2984. 800-364-2984. 800-364-2984. That's 800-364-2984.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside my trunk? My lovely lady hump.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means. It's provocative.
No, it's not.
It gets the people going.
Rick Tittle's got a black belt in keeping it real.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's a pleasure to welcome to the show Jim Goddard from the World Olympics Collectors Fair, and they'll be having the 29th edition of that, I should say, coming up at the historic Antlers Hotel in Colorado Springs. This will be coming up very soon, May 22nd to 24th. Jim, welcome to the show. A couple years ago, I was in Colorado Springs. I went to the Olympic Museum there, and it was like going in a futuristic spaceship. They gave me a lanyard, and they wanted all my information, and then it was very interactive. It was pretty cool, though, to see all those medals. You got a lot going on there in the Springs, don't you?
Olympic City, USA, and thanks for having me on, Rick. There's so much to see there outside of our collector's fair, but the collector's fair is attracting people from all over the world. So it should be, in itself, very interactive.
Do you live there?
I live in Castle Rock, which is about 25 minutes north of Colorado Springs. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, driving down from Denver, you go right past, got the flag up on the rock, right?
You got it. That's the one.
So I got to ask, I'm sure you've done Garden of the Gods. I did walk up the Manitou Incline. Oh, my gosh, that was hard.
One of the best physical challenges in this area, especially since it's at altitude. Castle Rock's at about 6,300 feet, and Colorado Springs is a little bit higher. So it's a good challenge, but the people coming here are intent on their passion around the Olympic Games.
One more thing, I did go across the freeway from all that, the Rodale Hall of Fame, Jim.
Well, I would put that maybe a little lower on my list.
I went to that too. All right, so the Antlers Hotel, a great venue. It's in walking distance of the Olympic and Paralympic Museum, and I have interviewed probably more Olympians and Paralympians than anyone. Of course, you got the Pikes Peak looming overhead there as well. Take us through what this Antlers Fair is all about and what's on offer, please.
Well, if you imagine your basic card show or coin show, it's very much like that, but focused absolutely on Olympic Games. And modern Olympic Games, since 1896, have been distributing pins, which is sort of the hallmark of and kind of the entryway for collectors of Olympic memorabilia. They're very, very common. Back in the day, they were used as identification for whether you're a competitor or an official. But over time, those kind of evolved, and teams began to trade them with each other. So there are team pins. There are all kinds of different sorts of pins. And then from there, there are you'll be able to see badges, mascots, medals, torches, stamps, apparel, photos, posters, programs. It's very much like any other sports collectible. However, they only come around every 2 years now, the Winter Games, and then 2 years later, the Summer Games. But we keep that spirit alive, and there are Olympic activities that happen in between. So we'll have people from 9 different countries, and they'll be selling, buying, trading, trying to fill their own collections. And it really is, probably 100 collectors overall, but we expect a lot of walk-in people, and we'll have 4 or 5 Olympians there as well, and Paralympians.
And obviously, we're such a big country, and we're so good at winning medals that you have to be like a Mary Lou Retton or Michael Phelps, or recently an Alyssa Liu for us to, remember you after the Olympics. But as you mentioned, around the world, there are countries where you get a bronze medal and they'll build a statue to you. So I can only imagine what you said, some of these internationals that are coming in, how big it is for them.
It is. And, the United States puts a lot of effort into the Olympic Games and a lot of focus on it. There are some sports like football, soccer, where the World Cup is really the ultimate experience. Mm-hmm. But for the United States, the Olympic Games are so exciting. They are, and I'm pleased to see so much more visibility for these athletes in between games. But you're right. We've got people from Lithuania, Slovakia, Germany, Japan. Many of those have certain sports that are theirs, and those winners, those heroes, really become a big focus of those other countries. So they're here looking for those sorts of things that I have in store. And I have to say, the hunt is really the best part about it. You might pick up something at an Olympic Games that is from a very obscure sport or an unusual year where the teams were very small. But it's the story behind it and the people that you meet that really stick with you.
You make a good point about soccer, too, because the Olympics used to be the big tournament for the men until Jules Rimet started the World Cup in the 30s, and now it's an under-21 tournament when you can have like 3 overage players. But for the women, it's just as big as the Women's World Cup. And isn't it cool that remains, that for the women, the Olympics is a huge thing in soccer?
That's so true of hockey as well. I was in Milan and happened to be at the women's gold medal round. My mother's from Canada. I'm from the U.S. That rivalry is going on for a long time, and just the quality of play is spectacular. It was just a fabulous game.
I noticed that when I was at the museum there in the Springs that, they had medals from every Olympics, and it was kind of funny to see the ones that, the early ones that looked like, Eisenhower silver dollars from when I was a kid to what we have now. And yet what we have now, people were talking about how the quality wasn't great and they were breaking. It's up to that individual country. I guess the IOC maybe looks over their shoulder, but, we had the glass ones. We've had, I think that's one of the coolest things. And I guess at these collectors showcases, can you find a medal or two?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a story from Prague, which was the last World Olympic Collector Fair in 2025. I happened to be sitting next to a table of folks from an auction house, and a man came up with a bronze medal from 1904, which is really, really tough to find. In fact, the participation medal from 1904 is one of the toughest things to find for a collection of participant medals. But anyway, this was I believe it was from, the sport was tug of war.
Yep.
So there are many sports that no longer exist in the Olympics, but so you can imagine how unusual that medal was. You stumble upon these things here and there. It's nice being in Colorado because there's so many Olympians here. And I've made friends with several, and many of them forget to focus on the history behind these or how significant what it is that they have might be. So one of the things that I really enjoy is talking with these individuals and having them consider donate to the USOPC archives. And it's the archives that loan things to the museum for display. So that collection of medals is actually the property of the archives, as are all of the torches in the museum. Both are spectacular exhibitions, and I would recommend to anyone to go to that spaceship in downtown Colorado Springs and have that experience.
What would be for you like the holy grail thing to buy? Like for me, I would think when Patton was at the 1912 Olympics in Stockholm, he was in the modern pentathlon. He should have got the gold medal, but they said he missed the target. And what he did, for people who don't know, he got two bullseyes. The bullet went through the same hole twice. So they said he missed and he got screwed out of that medal. But if you could have the target or the handgun or like something like that, what for you would be like, man, I wish I could find that?
Oh, gosh. My sport is pole vault. I was a pole vaulter when I was young, and so watching just how far that sport has gone, if I could get a pole vaulting pole from one of the best, whether it's Sergei Bubka or who's been around for a while, it's hard to know where pole vault is going to go now that we've got our Swedish star who came from Louisiana. Mondo Duplantis is just spectacular. So, but, if you think about a pole vaulting pole, it's pretty tough to display that in your collection. So, a pair of shoes of his would mean a lot to me. There are a lot of other things, though, that if I were to stumble upon it at the right price, one of those would be a torch from the Squaw Valley 1966 Olympics. My cousin, who was older than I, carried that torch in the Olympic torch relay, which was from L.A. to Squaw Valley, but it was all done by high school students. And he was a senior in high school in Modesto, and quite a good miler in cross country. And so that would be spectacular. But I can tell you that it wasn't too long ago that one of those torches sold for over $700,000.
Wow.
There aren't very many of them.
Just as an aside before I let you go, when you said pole vault, it just reminded me of how furious I was that here we had Dan O'Brien, the world record holder, and at the trials he said, I don't need to do the preliminary, just put it at 15.9. And then he missed all three, and he didn't go to Barcelona. And he handled it very well, but come on, he's the world record holder. And that's what I hate about the trials, because they can do that sometimes. And all. But anyway, what do you think of 15.9 as a starting point?
Well, he was a spectacular pole vaulter and quite an athlete. But I've done the same thing. When I was in high school, I bombed out on the low height too. It's just one of those things that pole vault is like golf. Some days you're just way off. But and Dan O'Brien is just a wonderful guy too. I've met him on a couple of occasions, and all of the Olympic sports, the athletes that I've met are just wonderful. And the perspective that you have to put in is that hat to say these folks have put in not just the 10,000 hours, but so much blood, sweat, and tears to get there. And the United States is unique in that way because we do have trials very different from other countries who collect and watch the performance over a whole season to decide who's on their Olympic team. So we put a lot of pressure on our team.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would just send the best. And but anyway, I'm not in charge. But I'll tell you what, Jim Goddard is in charge of the 29th World Olympic Collectors Fair, converging at the historic Antlers Hotel there in picturesque Colorado Springs, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Olympic Center there. Where do we go online for more info, Jim?
Well, it's a complicated website, but if you Google AICO World Olympic Collectors Fair, that will take you to a website that will tell you all the details about it.
Jim Goddard, thanks for your time, man. Let's catch up down the road.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.
All right. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a systems problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get added on. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix the back end. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Come again? You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
Rick Tittle beats his servants.
All right, thank you for that. And I'm going to stay here for the first interview of the 10 o'clock hour. Then I'll do the switch. Does anyone care? No, but we have a big second hour coming up with Rand Gutland from USA Against the World and Tom Clavin with the book Vengeance. By the way, Colorado Springs is an interesting place because of the positioning of Pikes Peak and everything, there's rain and lightning every day around 3 or 4 o'clock. Every day. It's so weird. The Air Force Academy, right up against the mountains. I went there, not as a student, but to visit. There's no reason for the Air Force Academy to be up against these mountains in a place where there's lightning every day. Who pulled that out? I mean, somebody with, you think about the other academies being in Annapolis, Maryland, and in West Point, New York. Who decided to have it in Colorado against a mountainside where there's lightning and rain every day? Somebody with some cash. All right, we got another couple hours, so get on back, everybody.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. And in the time I've been doing these little time fillers, I've exalted a lot of pitchers. I've talked about Shohei Ohtani and Mason Miller starts and fantasy booked their Cy Young paths. Talked about Sandy Alcantara being one of the most underappreciated pitchers in the game. Pretty sure I've mentioned Tarek Skubal a bunch. And then there's Paul Skeens, who at only 23 years old may be the best of them all. We were reminded of that again in Pittsburgh yesterday, where the Ace took a no-hitter into the 7th inning before it was foiled as the Pirates beat Colorado 3-1. Skeens' control was nearly immaculate. He struck out the side in the first 2 innings and baffled the Rockies over 8 innings. He gave up only 2 hits, no walks, and struck out 10 on only 98 pitches. I grew up in awe of watching Nolan Ryan pitch for the Astros and Rangers in the 1980s and 90s. And since he retired in 1993, there have been a lot of great starters who can rack up strikeouts, not the least of which was Randy Johnson. But none have really made me feel like I was watching someone in Ryan's mold. Skeens does, and I think a lot of it is just his presence and how he carries himself on the field. There's no self-adulation or gimmicks. There's not a bunch of high fives and smiles. It's a grown-ass man showing up at the butcher shop to begin his work as a cold-blooded sausage maker. Skeens has shown a maturity beyond his years from the time he stepped on a major league field for the first time in 2024. And I don't know the guy's life story, but I do know he could have played anywhere coming out of high school, and he chose the Air Force Academy fully intent on wanting to fly fighter jets. Skeens ultimately transferred to LSU when it was clear that his service to this country would be best served by way of its pastime, who desperately needed a service. And he has delivered. Named as the NL All-Star starter after only pitching for weeks in the majors and finishing 2024 third in the Cy Young voting, Skeens won the Cy in 2025 with the best pitching WAR and WHIP in all of MLB. And that's where he blows me away the most. Less than Ryan and much more like Greg Maddux, Skeens doesn't walk batters and he doesn't give up home runs. He barely lets anyone on base at all, 25 hits and 9 starts total. He's given up only 8 extra base hits this year and has not walked anyone since April 13th, a span of 25 consecutive innings. A gem that throws gems. Paul Skeens is special, and it's my only hope that in this day and age where pitchers burn out their arms within only a few years of making the majors, Skeens can last. Because the game, especially the long-suffering fans in Pittsburgh, need him. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. I mentioned George S. Patton, the modern pentathlon. I don't know why I'm talking like that, because he was from California. But old blood and guts. And you probably knew, he started off at VMI before he went to West Point. But when he was at West Point, they still taught cavalry. You had to know how to ride a horse. And he designed the saber, and they went with it. It was the last cavalry saber the Army ever had, because we went into a new age. But it's kind of like, then when a guy is like 20 years old and he's like, I think the sword would look better like this. But, he died in a car crash in Heidelberg. Heidelberg is one of the best cities you'll ever go to. It's a great city right on the Neckar River. It's gorgeous, and the United States forces decided that they were going to need a headquarters after the war, so they didn't want to obliterate the town, and so they picked Heidelberg, the old university town. They go, let's not touch Heidelberg. Let's keep it pristine, and it is. It's amazing. But when I was 14, and big military history buff even then, and I was with my mom and dad and little brother, we were in Luxembourg, and I insisted on seeing Patton's grave at the American cemetery out there. And he said, bury me with my men. But everybody trod upon, wanted to see his grave. They decided to move him, and then they had him in his own special place. But, of course, when I was a kid, too, that's when the George C. Scott movie came out about him back in the day. But, so modern pentathlon, his pistol was a higher... you brought your own pistol. It could be any caliber you wanted, but he had 2 bullseyes. And he should have been an Olympic gold medalist, but it's pretty Stallion-esque anyway that in his 20s he did represent the United States at the Olympics. That would have been the highlight for most people. It's just an afterthought for him. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a systems problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get added on. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix the back end. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
This important consumer alert is from the Credit Repair Hotline, a national service designed to help people improve their credit scores. Are you paying high interest rates because of your credit rating? Wouldn't you like to be able to qualify for a better car loan or mortgage rate? Would lower monthly payments give you more financial flexibility? If you're finally ready to fix your credit problem, you need to call today and get a free consultation from the Credit Repair Hotline. In one fast and easy call, we can pull your credit rating and show you real solutions how to improve your credit. And again, this is part of a 100% free consultation. Learn how you can save money on everyday purchases by having a better credit rating. And it all starts with this free phone call right now.
800-413-6214. 800-413-6214. 800-413-6214. That's 800-413-6214.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Hour 2 of Titillating Sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great, I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of Titillating Sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. We're waiting on our guest, and when we get him, we will pick him up and throw him on the air. What do you think of that? 1-800, what do you think of that? 1-800-878-PLAY to get in. And we're going to be talking about the United States men's national team. And I always try to keep it real. Why not? I don't think the USA is going to do anything this World Cup. I think it's 50-50. They get out of the first round. There's going to be so many, I don't want to say watered down games, but just games of very little interest. Now, with 48 teams, it is good to have it here in America because people will go to the games who know nothing about soccer just because they feel like they're missing out, the FOMO of it, the event status of it. I mean, look at me. I'm going to the Valkyries tonight, and I've never seen a WNBA game in my life, not even on TV. But it's a huge thing in the Bay Area now, and I can get in free, and I'm taking advantage of that. And who knows? I'm always open to be wowed, and it's not up to them to wow me. They're doing fine without me. It's up to me to see if I like it. And I'm a perfect example of that tonight. I'm going to something I don't know about, I don't care about, and maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I have a feeling I'll probably leave at halftime because that's what I do with everything I go do. It's so funny when the Raiders moved back. I was so excited. And every Raider game I went to ever since, when it got to halftime, I'm like, God, I want to go home. This is all the weed smoke and the traffic and broken bottles and syringes and such things. But anyway, there have been times where I thought, we could get through the second round. Not this time. And it's not because they don't have good players. They do have some good players. But just hearing yesterday, you hear Johnny Cardozo's out of the World Cup? You hear that, Don? He's out now. He got something with his ankle. He would have started for sure. He's a real player who plays for a real team, Atletico Madrid. And they're falling like flies. But even if Johnny was playing, no. I don't think it would have been a huge deal one way or the other. But, yeah, they're not putting the fear of the Lord into anyone. And you get these FIFA rankings where they're like, the USA is 11th in the world. And it just makes me laugh. They wouldn't even be 11th in Europe. All right, Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a very cool HBO original 5-part sports documentary series which just debuted last night with episode 1. It's called U.S. Against the World, 4 years with the men's national soccer team, which is directed and produced by our guest, Rand Getlin. Rand, welcome to the show. Is there a little double entendre with U.S. or us against the world there, intentionally, unintentionally?
I love that you picked up on that. It's super intentional. It has many, many meanings. But, it's the United States against the world in a literal sense in sports. And then, of course, it's us against the world in terms of the team having to come together to try and figure out how to shut out all the outside noise and make the country proud.
So this isn't just something where you've hung out with them the last few months. You picked it up 4 years ago, right after Qatar. Did you think this is a 4-year mission, or it just kind of turned out that way?
Yeah, so what's so interesting is we started in May of 22, about 5 or 6 months in advance of Qatar. So we've been filming with them since prior to Qatar, and we went cameras up in May of 22, and we've been cameras up ever since. So, it was for us always a forever franchise. It was something that a story we wanted to tell for as long as we were, lucky enough to be roaming the planet. And the reason for that is because it only happens once every 4 years. So it's always going to be event television. You've got a group of young Americans doing everything in their power to go out and give this country something to cheer for. And it's the best of the best. It's the best we have to offer. And it's an underdog story because we've never won the World Cup. We've never even made a semis. And so for us, those are exactly the kinds of stories we like to invest in, where the stakes are high and the investment levels by the characters in the space are very high. And they allow us in to kind of tell the story in a real, true, in-depth way, which these players and the United States Soccer Federation have done.
So were you there to document the stupid, embarrassing thing with the Reynas and the Berhalters, and you didn't play Gio, so we're going to talk about when you kicked your future wife in the shins in college, and then they had to suspend him, and they get these guys like Anthony Hudson and BJ Callahan, people I've never heard of. Then they put him back in, and then after the Copa America, now he's out. I mean, I love Mauricio Pochettino, I do, but what about that whole thing? It was a little bit embarrassing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about sports, as it were, anywhere you're at, is life happens. It's made up of human beings, and none of us are perfect, and so sometimes that stuff spills out into the open. We were there for everything. We were cameras up in Qatar. There was nothing that was off limits to us, and the narrative on the outside. One of the things that's cool about the show is we get to show you what it really was like. The narrative on the outside was not how we experienced it inside, and we have a 4-person crew at that time. And we're the only ones that are not players or staff there. And so it's very intimate space. And you would notice if something was wildly out of whack, like if there was a player spazzing or, whatever. And none of that happened. Like, we didn't even know anything was going on. In retrospect, you can look back and be like, oh, here are a couple things that maybe would have led us to believe something was going on, but it was so benign that it's nuts to see how it's presented in the media. But it all did spill out into the open. It was obviously like a serious thing. It impacted a lot of lives along the way, and in the show we cover that dynamic, but very briefly. In all honesty, this is a team show. It's about the team preparing for and competing in the 26th World Cup and pushing towards that. And you got to cover everything. And so, in order to do that specific story justice, we didn't capture anything on the cameras that we're not sharing. So you'd have to go do like a lot of legwork and probably spend 25 to 30 minutes, because you got to interview the families, and you got to interview U.S. Soccer, and you got to interview these people, and make sure that you tell the story as fully and comprehensively as possible. We just felt like the show probably wasn't the right place for that, but understand, people's interest in it. And I think for everybody involved, they're happy to be 4 years on and pushing towards the future.
So for me personally, I know we're running out of time here, but for me personally, watching every game of the 82 and 86 World Cup, and, we weren't there for 40 years, so I had to root for my heritage. So I rooted for Germany and Denmark. Finally getting there at 90, I worked the World Cup in 94. It seemed onward and upward. And France 98, not good, but then kind of bouncing back. The great team at South Korea, Japan. And yet, I don't know if we ever recovered from missing Russia 2018, and now it seems like everything's sour. Trump, don't come, Iran, you might die. Okay, you can come, maybe you can't. Ticket prices are too high. Cardozo's hurt. This guy's hurt. Pulisic can't score. We have all our players, most of them anyway, playing overseas for big teams. We got a great coach. I don't know. It seems like everybody's kind of sour right now, and I feel bad. Maybe once we start playing, it'll be better. But how do you? I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me. How do you feel about it?
No, I think you're right. I mean, look, I used to cover the NFL and the NBA, and so I'm very familiar with fan bases across the Twitter sphere and on social. And I used to be a reporter, so I interact with them all the time. I would say that the USMNT fan base, I'm hopeful they can find some more joy overall. And like the results have been rough. We get it. We want to be the best, and we're not quite there yet. And so I think that, like, it's unfortunate that there's not more optimism. It's unfortunate that there's not more investment in this young group of guys who are giving everything they have to make the country proud. But I'm hopeful that this show will be a piece of that. I'm hopeful that people that support the team, or they're just frustrated, they watch it, they learn a little bit more, and they say, you know what, this is a team we're supporting. These are guys worth rooting for, and I'm going to double down. I'm going to be there to make sure that I'm pushing them to victory instead of tearing them down. And I think as a country, if you think about what we're trying to accomplish, right, that's where we need to go. We need to be in a place where we say, look, the results have not been good enough, but we need to be there to support them because there's no way they're going to go do the impossible if we're all against them. We got to be there for them. And so it's a unique thing. It's a U.S. men's national team, the best of the best that we have to offer. And they definitely are, as human beings and players, a group of guys that deserve the country's support. So we're hopeful that the show plays its part in helping to swing, sentiment in advance of the tournament and during the tournament, and that the team then goes out there and makes a memorable run that gives fans something to cheer for.
No, and I think outside of people like you and me who already know this, there's so many people that this show is going to do so much, and then they're going to get invested because now they're going to think that they know these guys. So I think you're doing the Lord's work. It is a 5-part original HBO series. Part 1 just aired last night. Tuesdays at 9 coming up for the next 4. It's called U.S. Against the World. 4 years with the men's national soccer team, produced by and directed by, I guess, Rand Gatlin and his studio, Park Stories. Rand, great stuff, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We will come on back with some open lines on Sports Byline.
I get a lot of calls from people across the country who are suffering from the affliction of IRS tax debt. Hi, I'm the tax doctor. Call me right now. My team specializes in helping people over the age of 50 solve their tax problems. And the bigger your tax problem is, the more money you can save. If you owe the IRS money, or you're about to owe the IRS money, or even if you need to file years of unfiled returns, call us right now. Our friendly, highly trained representatives are waiting right now to take your call. Over the years, we've helped thousands of people just like you stop the tax liens, wage garnishments, and harassing phone calls. You don't need to send the IRS a big fat check. We can negotiate a lower amount. That's what we guarantee for you. So call us right now.
800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Right now, you can switch from cable television to satellite television for free. That's right, we're offering free equipment, free installation, plus get a free $100 prepaid Visa card. Call the Satellite TV hotline right now. Make the switch from cable to satellite television and expand your viewing horizon. On top of free installation, for a limited time, we're offering a fixed price guarantee. With Satellite TV, you'll save money over your expensive cable bill. Plus, get access to hundreds of channels. And when you call right now, you can also ask about our seniors and military discounts. So make the switch to Satellite TV right now. Everybody gets free installation, free equipment, plus a $100 prepaid Visa card. Call right now and you can switch to Satellite TV and be watching everything you wanted to within the next week. And remember, installation's free, so call right now. 800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. That's 800-696-2871.
Oh, there's a fight going on here between two Newcastle players. Kieran Dyer and Lee Bowyer are having a fight. Goodness me, what on earth is going on? I have never seen such a thing. Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer suddenly were at each other's throats.
Tittle, you done broke my heart, but I still take you back. You hella fine.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. So I was going to go see the Valks, but I've just been called in to work KMBR from 2 to 6. I said yes to that. So we're looking at 7 hours on the air again. KMBR 68. Apparently Copes can't make it, so I'll be with Derek Papa. Check my tweet. All right. Coming up in the next segment, I'm supposed to switch over to you right now, right, Dom? I missed it. Did you remember? Were you trying to text me? Oh, you just said, screw it. Let Rick suffer.
I was grabbing emails and just assumed you were going to walk over. I didn't come grab you, though.
All right. Well, it's not your responsibility. So they're just going to have to wait, or are we going to have to do a live transfer now?
I'll find out.
Yeah. I was getting people from KMBR were texting me. And so anyway, I'm still in here. 1-800-878. These are the things that people listening is like don't even care about. Oh, all right. Now I'm told don't tweet anything. All right. Okay. Maybe I'm not going on KMBR. Maybe I'm not going on KMBR, and now maybe I got to switch studios. All right, I can stay till 30. They don't even go on the air till 11. They just need time to set up. So I'm just actually going to screw them and not give. All right, this is all live on the air, unfortunately. And all right, 1-800-878-PLAY. Where am I going here? I saw, the NFL schedule came out, and even when the Raiders were here, it was a snoozer for me because you already knew who you were going to play. I mean, I think that's the interesting thing. What division in the other conference are you going to get? Because you're going to play your same stupid teams in your division. You're going to play the Chiefs twice, the Donkeys twice, the Chargers twice. That's what you're going to do. So there's 6 games. You're going to play a bunch of other AFC teams. And then everyone in your division will play everyone in the other division once. And it flips every 3 years or so. So then you'll be like, oh, this year we're playing the Vikings and the Bears, playing the NFC North. You think, all right, well, those will be the 2 home games. Those will be cool. It seemed like for 6 years in a row, we had Jets coming to Oakland. Not even the Raiders going to the Jets. But it was weird. Well, now teams are playing overseas. When the Raiders were still in Oakland, they were playing a preseason game against the Packers in Winnipeg. Remember that? Why? Well, are you trying to get kids in football? I think they're interested. They have their own league. So when the NFL revealed last night that the Bengals are playing the Falcons in Spain, probably nobody was happier than the aforementioned Joe Burrow. He has been in the NFL since 2000, and he has never played in an international game. And Burrow thought they were going to get one last year, and it didn't happen. So Burrow was very loud last year that he was disappointed. And as crazy as it sounds, that might have been the actual factor in why they decided to send the Bengals to Madrid. So let me break it down. In February of 2025, the NFL announced the Dolphins would be playing in Madrid. And everybody said, oh, the Dolphins are the home team. Oh, they're going to play the Bengals. And so those rumors got back to Burrow, And he has over 4 million followers on Instagram. And they go, how do you feel about playing in Madrid? And he wrote, please be true. And instead they said, actually, the Commanders are going. So when an interviewer was talking about the schedule for next season, last year, he said, maybe an international game next year. It's an unusual request because most players dread the international games. And there are a lot of people, bless their hearts, who think, why would you ever leave America? My grandmother was that way. And one time she was on a cruise to the Caribbean. We like, how'd you like it? And she said, traveling is for the kids. It's a very 70s thing to say, but. And she's like, why would you? Because, my family, we were going to Europe and, multiple times. And she's like, why would you ever go there? Well, there are a lot of NFL players that, they're not like KD who hang out in Paris in the offseason. Way more than they're using. But there are a lot of guys. Their idea, and I'm not trying to clown them, right? But their idea of a vacation is Hawaii, or San Padre Island, or, maybe Acapulco or something. They don't want to go to the MCG and play in Australia. They don't want to go to the Allianz Arena in Munich. They don't even want to go to London, but probably London for them. They're like, all right, well, at least I can understand the language and read the signs. But Burrow said that was one of the reasons he volunteered to be on the Netflix quarterback show. Remember? He said, part of the reason I wanted to do the quarterback show, I wanted to help grow the game internationally. And so to not have a stage like that is a little disappointing because I feel like I've consciously worked hard to try to grow the game internationally over the last 18 months or so. So hopefully at some point in my career, we can go over there. So the Bengals are one of 5 teams, along with the Cowboys, Lions, Texans, and Raiders, that have yet to play an international game this decade. It's interesting to me because Mark Davis, they were in Oakland, they did every year. They always give up a home game, gladly. It's Mexico twice, London twice. The second time I went to London, that's when I got to go. That was 2019. So I guess, in the decade, that was their last one. They beat the Bears, and I was there in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, did my pre- and post-game show from the stadium. But, look, when a star quarterback says he's disappointed by the schedule, the NFL takes notice, and they definitely did here. Someone said they talked to Mike North, who's the president of broadcast planning. Can I have that job? That sounds easy. Someone said, did you guys hear Burrow complain? He said, quote, he's been vocal about it. I remember he was pretty disappointed last year when you guys didn't go, so I think that's a real possibility for the Bengals this year. So, Burrow is also a very popular player, and he's good, and he's humble, he's funny, he's good-looking. He's a good ambassador for the league. And so he said, this guy North said, they've got one of those fan bases, thanks in large part to the quarterback, that resonates in Europe and across the planet. Well, also that